Hey, hope you're enjoying today's episode. I wanted to let you know because I often forget to do this, and then people always tell me, man, you should have let me know. We have 3 coach certificate events coming up this year, 2025, 2 in Sydney and 1 in the Northern Rivers. So if you do want to get involved, you want to work with us, you want to work in one of our gyms, or you just want to learn more about our approach to coaching and gain the toolkit that we see as essential for any high-level coach, this is the course for you. There are no prerequisites to enroll besides a desire to learn. We got March 15th and 16th, that's a Saturday and Sunday here at Botany, and September 2021 also here in Botany. They are the 2 Sydney events this year, March and September. If you're on the Northern Rivers, good news for you, we got one event coming your way, April 5th and 6th, and that will be held at Jungle Cabarita Beach. You can enroll for any of these through the website junglealliance.com. And if you want more information about it, you can reach out to me, info@junglealliance.com. Today's episode is brought to you by Panavore Cafe. They do the best coffee and the finest sandwiches in Sydney, home of the infamous Joey Sandwich. Check them out if you're in the area. If you ever come and visit the gym, I strongly recommend you finish off there for light refreshments afterwards. Big thank you to Panavore. We're drinking their coffee. Enjoy the episode.
Internet.
Yeah, it was a dude. Hey, what's up, guys? That was a dude through, I think, Fiverr.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, he's really good.
I like that beat.
Yeah, I think he did a great job.
Yep.
You were there when I was trying to arrive at it. It's so hard, right? Someone's like, yes, I can create a piece of music for you for your podcast. Send me some references. And then you send them some references and they go, cool, here's what I reckon. And you're like, yeah, it's good. Sounds like a guy made it.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like a cool hip hop track that I've been listening to since mid-90s. But you know what I mean? Like it's so hard to just be like, yeah, that's great. Anyway, so I thought, oh, it's good enough. And then now I really like it.
Yeah.
You know,
I think it's solid.
Yeah, it's just settled in.
Now you can put it 100 of your favorite hip hop albums into ChatGPT probably. It probably just spits it out for you perfect.
Make me a 15-second podcast intro music.
Reference all of this massive deep catalog and arrive at something for me.
We were chatting
You
about
got 5 seconds.
Do you think it's because you're studying? Is that where ChatGPT's utility has made itself apparent to you?
Yeah, for sure. But also here, and I'm sure you've come across it yourself. Like a lot of people mention it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of people mention it, they're using it, I'm like, oh, whatever. And then, actually people using it to achieve fucking assessments that I'm also trying to achieve. Yeah, and I've been slowly using it, and yeah, that's where I've kind of seen the benefit.
Is most of the work you're using it for to produce documents, or is it to get information?
So the 2 ways I use it for is to gather background information, and also for grammar and flow correction. So write something, chuck it in, and then it'll clean it up for you, give you a couple of options.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The background information I really like and there's probably people out there going, fuck, Paul, you dinosaur. We've been using it for years now. Of course you use it like that. But I'm kind of new to it.
And you've had a healthy reluctance to...
Yes, yeah, that's right. Yeah, but it's just like it feels very conversational at times, where you're like, hey, can you tell me a bit about this? Oh, that's cool. Can you tell me more about that?
Tell me a little bit about you.
Yeah.
What's your Nasho?
Yeah, that's right. Do you have emotions?
Yeah. Wait, you a girl or a guy? Yeah. What am I talking about? Damn, girl. Yeah. What you wearing?
Let's see how far we can push this thing. The edges.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, I messed around with it a little bit, to actually create a blog article off a podcast episode. So to go take this transcript of this podcast and make a blog that's, 1 page and just sums it up into a nice, fucking article. I just couldn't, I just couldn't bring myself to keep doing it because I'm like, I don't care about these blogs.
Yeah.
I don't care about this document that I've created. It's a different thing, right, to how you're using it. But yeah, for that sort of utility where I was trying to leverage it for content creation, I was just like, nah, I'm not into it.
What you could do is take the transcript of the podcast and ask it to make a summary.
Yeah.
Or a bullet point summary, a bullet point transcript or something like that. And it can just basically break it up into sections of conversation.
For what purpose?
For fucking content. So like you have a blog and the blog's just the podcast episode summarized.
Yeah. Well, that's what I did.
Okay.
It was a really good blog. Like I got to the point where it had, it was like, yep, here's the main three takeaways.
Oh, okay. It's not trying to sound like a human. It's just bullet pointed summary.
Yeah, and I said like try to adopt the language used in the podcast, and blah blah, and it did a reasonable job of that. But I just didn't value what it gave me.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm like, this article looks sick.
Yep.
But the dinosaur in me, I only value a blog that I've written.
Yeah, that's right.
And I don't need to put a blog out. That's arguable, right?
Yeah. That's all part of the fucking marketing game.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, I probably could have done 100 blogs by now. Maybe I'll start doing it again after this conversation. Let's see. This is maybe what folks don't know is that we don't get to chat very much. And so the podcast is often one of the rare times where we get to sit down and just talk for a couple of hours, albeit in a structured way where we're chasing a particular topic, or whatever.
Yeah.
Such is not the topic of today's discussion. We're just having a catch up. So, thanks for being here, guys. You just got back from your trip, and then I went away on my trip with the fam.
Mm-hmm.
You feel like you settled back in at work now? Feel like you're in the groove for the year?
Yes and no. Just because I'm finishing a semester and I'm in a bit of transition still from the last podcast, just the handover of the gym here.
Yeah.
Into Dylan and Sam's hands and me in a lesser of a role. And then, I'm still starting my year and organising it, but definitely the holidays are behind me and I'm ready. I'm just settling into my schedule now. But it felt like a long holiday period, with kids it's home from school and stuff like that. Hasn't been painful. A lot of parents are tearing their hair out and shit by the end of it. It's been quite cool to hang out and have some time around home. But I'm ready to get into the year, get into routine and some habits again. What
do you think is the secret there? Because a lot of parents do whinge about the holidays, especially our Christmas holidays being 6 weeks for the most part.
Yep.
It's a long time, month and a half. Clearly, like it's going to disrupt your schedule or your routine as an adult. How do you view that?
I haven't really. I'll just throw out some thoughts. Obviously, you want to try and fucking cherish these moments, but it's tough because there's a lot of interaction. When I think of the training thing, like when I'm on holidays, I've started doing this thing where I write down the things that I want to achieve, what I want to get out of these holidays, or what is it that I really want to do in these holidays that when I finish, I'm going to feel like I got the break. Because I've actually had breaks where I'm like, fuck, I didn't do anything that I wanted to do because all the other lives in your household just take over.
Yeah.
So I definitely do that and try, keep on top of that. And one of those things is like training. So figuring out that or what it is that makes your holiday so you get a break as well and your cup full type of thing, and just keep that in mind every week or every day. Like, hey, what do I want to do today? And you're not just running around doing all the shit that the kids demand of you.
Yeah.
And with the kids and shit, it's like fuck, you really have to, use your community around you. And parents are the same. They're all the same. They're like all trying to book play dates with each other. Take some people's kids for the day, 2-3 kids at your house, your kids at their house, and just keep the interaction with your kids moving because they're used to a lot of interaction at school.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden they're at home with you all day, every day. You're going to kill each other.
Yeah.
So, it's staying pretty active. You don't have to fucking pay heaps of money to go to a fun park and on expensive holidays all the time. But just keeping the interaction high, trying to feel excited and grateful for the holiday. So, hey, what can we do today? Let's go to the beach. Make it a bit fun, you know?
Yeah. You got to push yourself a little bit. Like, because to do those things, right? To like, hey, let's go have an adventure today, whatever, jump in the car, we'll go to the beach, some shit. It's real easy to be like, oh, I couldn't be fucked. You know, and the kids are like comfortable watching TV or whatever, and you're like, oh, why don't we just kick around and then feel super anxious at 4 p.m. because we didn't do anything.
Yes.
But is it, do you have to cultivate a discipline to be that guy? Or are you pretty, like, I mean, you do seem very motivated in that way to be active with them and get it out and about.
Well, it kind of demands it because the kids cannot stay home all day. And, you know, you want to be on top of devices all fucking day. Yeah. Because if you're at home and not doing something with them actively, that's what they're trying to do or are doing, which is not really great. So, yeah, every day you're thinking about how we're getting them out the next day. Well, you're thinking of that like a week ahead, and the better you get at it, the more you're thinking way ahead. Like at the end of school term, all the parents are booking in shit straight away. Where are you guys? Oh, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we're going there. Okay, let's book this for fucking January 14th. Play date at yours. Okay, well, let's go to a fun park. I'll take them to this. Like, wow. Yeah, it's planning. You have to get them out every day. Otherwise, someone's going to go crazy.
Otherwise, everyone cops it.
Yeah, so you do. And so, you know, if you're blessed enough to be able to take some time off, like it's really good. A lot of people can't. But I think it's like just changing your expectations. If expectations are like, fuck, I need to work all the way through this, or maintain this training regime or whatever that is while having the kids, like you're just going to get frustrated the whole time. So you do have to have a holiday mode, my holiday mode, and break it up for them as well as you. So like whatever, like I'm like ice creams every day now.
Oh yeah?
We're allowed to have ice cream every day of the holidays, whether it's an ice block or an ice cream. It's like we get to do that.
Like go to the servo, get one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or we're making sundaes, or, you know, the tub, or it's just like ice creams every day. They're always asking for one, and it's fucking 40 degrees all the time.
Fuck, bro. It's so funny. You know, Leo, my son, he's been allergic to dairy, like cow's milk.
Oh, yeah.
Not lactose. He's been allergic to like milk protein.
Yep.
And so, yeah, he hasn't eaten dairy food really in any great capacity since he was born, right? Like in his life. And, you know, so he has like soy milk or oat milk if he's eating cereal or whatever, or, you know, baby Chino or some shit. You know, he can have a little bit of cheese sometimes. He can have coconut yogurt, that kind of thing. Anyway, Mies took him to the allergist the other day. They retested him and he doesn't have that allergy anymore. And he came home and he's like, Dadis, guess what? I was like, well, he's like, I'm not allergic to cow's milks anymore. And I'm like, you can have cow milks? He's like, I can have cow milks. And so he's like, he's gone so hard. He's just like, yep, cheese, yep, fucking cream cheese, yep, milk, like just pounding it, right? And we went to the bowling club for dinner the other night, and there were a couple of girls, young girls, older than Leo, at the table next to us, and he just attached himself to them, and they really weren't interested in him at all. They wanted to just do handstands and shit, and he was like trying to jam with them, and they had eaten already, obviously, and then they were like, Mum, can we get ice cream? At the club, if you have a kid's meal, you get free ice cream.
Oh, yeah.
As is common.
Little tub?
Yeah, little tub with some like fucking sauce
sprinkles on it or something.
Horrible shit. But they anyway, they start yelling at them. And Mum's like, yeah, okay, yeah. And then Leo goes, I want ice cream on it. We're like, mate, you haven't had dinner yet. We just ordered. You said you wanted spaghetti bolognese. He's like, no, I want ice cream now. I want ice cream. And we never had this problem because we used to just be, no, mate, that's cow milk. You're allergic to that. And he'd be like,
can't do it.
He'd say nothing. Cool, move on. He's like, I want ice cream. And I was like, fuck. And I'm like, no, man, you have to eat your dinner first. And if you eat that, then we can talk about the ice cream. He's like, no. And I'm like, fuck, we've actually never had this dilemma.
Yeah.
You know?
So did you say you can have ice cream if you eat all your dinner?
Well, I said, yeah, you have to eat your dinner, right? And then he sits down to eat his dinner and he eats a bit and then he's like, can I have ice cream now? And I'm like, no, you have to finish that. And Miss is like that's bad too, right? But you have to finish all that food.
Yeah.
That's a post-depression era fucking recipe for obesity, right? I finish everything on your plate. So I was like, mate, I just need you to eat I just need you to eat the pasta. Like, just keep eating it for a bit. You know, I'm just trying to.
What's the metric though?
I
Dad?
know. And then he like eats a bit more and he's like, can I get ice cream now? And I'm like, fuck. And so I was like, all right, you've had enough. Yes, you can have ice cream, but this is the last time you're ever having ice cream at the club. I'm like, we do ice cream at other places, you know, but I was like, this one here, nah, because it's just gonna fuck up your ability to sit down and have dinner.
So
whereas Mies takes them out for an ice cream once a week or whatever.
So that's Lucia.
Right.
Yeah. She literally in the summer just wakes up and asks for an ice cream or an ice block when she wakes up through sleepy eyes.
Really?
Yeah. She's got a sweet tooth and I'm like, that's ridiculous. And yeah, so like the eating dinner thing is a bit of a headache because she just wants it. So
you're cutting deals.
Yeah. Yes.
Finish that. Then
Yeah. It's, it's often just you look at it, you see what she's eating that day. And then, so the metric is mouthfuls for me. I'm like, 2 more mouthfuls, okay? Because otherwise, if I'm asking it, like she's not going to finish it.
Yeah.
And then she's probably going to be too full, but she's going to eat the ice cream and feel sick later. So I'm like, just 2 more mouthfuls, babe.
It's such a shame, isn't it? Because you often know too, you're like, you are really going to enjoy this meal. Like I've cooked something that you love, or we've ordered something you love. Like, just forget about it for a minute. Just enjoy what's happening. And it's like fucking, yeah, I think you touched on that, when we one of our many chats about parenting, but just the irritation that comes from them just not being able to have reverence for a meal. Oh. It's so, you just feel like such a modern, privileged fucking piece of shit.
Fuck.
Oh, how good. Yeah, it's funny, you said it, it takes many hands, right? Like, it takes a village to raise the kids and shit. Our street's pretty isolated in that way. And our neighbours invited Leo and I around, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago they have like this little blow up jumping castle that like is a water park.
We've got one of those.
Have you?
So good.
That's great. It's got a little water cannon and the slide and shit.
Yeah. Ours is quite big.
Okay.
It's probably like 2/3 the size of this room.
Oh, wow.
It's sick. Someone gave it to us, a neighbour.
Oh, wow.
They kind of grew out of it.
Yeah, well, I was stoked with this thing.
Yeah.
And Leo had a great time. But I was chatting with them and I was like, hey, I'm thinking about putting on a street party.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, we're fucking in. And I really want to create a street where the kids can like cruise around to other people's houses.
Yep.
Like, I really want to have some kind of community feel.
Are there people with young kids in your few blocks? Okay, wicked.
There are, but it's that classic thing that most of us in the suburbs have where it's all isolated. That family's that family, you don't impede on them.
Yep.
You would never go and knock on their door.
No.
Right? It's like, no, don't trouble them.
But when he goes to school, I think that'll change a lot. As soon as he goes to school, then you will have people that live within, a few blocks away from you, and it'll start to kind of bring, those relationships with some trust and stuff and some commonality.
That's where your experience has been.
If I think about it, I do know some of the kids around the area, parents with kids, we wave and they're a few doors down, but it's really the ones that they go to school with that when that happens, you start to actually have relationships with the parents and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I do look forward to that.
Yeah.
I hate, my daughter, she doesn't have that in our area, right? None of her friends are there. They're all back over near school at her dad's place.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, fuck, it sucks that there's no crew here for her.
Yeah.
Not that she cares because, but.
I actually kind of observed that, well, especially in my area, it's a pretty, middle class area. Heaps of Catholics, and they all go to private Catholic schools. And so from our primary school, there's actually like half a dozen Catholic primary schools in the area as well as, and then there's loads of high schools. And I'm just saying a lot of the kids that did live within 2 kilometers of the school all now go to high schools. They go to high schools all spread out. And I just say it because the friend groups get further and further away the older they get.
Breaks them up.
Yeah, like people traveling, to whichever high school, and it breaks up that locality of it. And I think that, as they get to year 7, 8, 9, it gets smaller again as they're more mobile and getting buses and they know everyone in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
But there is a bit of a loss to that, like, immediate 3-floor blocks of your house type feel. That I feel like is around primary school. That's the primary school time.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a little bit geographically and education system, that's the influence from it. Anyway, that was just what I was thinking about with someone the other day.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I feel like it's a dilemma. It's a dilemma, like just it's I was chatting with Mies about it on our trip recently, whereby we're talking about this thing. So a little bit of a switch of gears here, but related. We're chatting about how she's been reading this book on nourishment, and it's largely based around animals, right? Which is of interest to her because we've got the cows and we're looking at getting a couple of goats and that sort of thing.
Hey, you got one right here.
Yeah, dog. Fucking thee. But it's talking about this natural wisdom that the animals have, where they eat the nutrients that they require because they're in touch with what their needs are. They're like, oh no, I don't need to eat that. I'll eat that, right? And if you give them access to those different nutrients, i.e. different plants, they will seek out the plants and eat what they need at the time. Anyway, the book goes into sort of the same kind of nourishment thing in regards to humans. And she was talking about this study that they did with communities and how this being part of a community thing was hugely impactful on people's health markers, which we know, right? Like that being part of a community is like a massive part of a healthy life. And I'm thinking about it and I'm like, yeah, like, fuck, we're all in on this. We all fully agree. Like you and I have a business that's based on that. And yes, absolutely. However, we live an isolationist lifestyle. I have a relationship with most neighbors, but that's because I'm that guy, probably like you, and I force myself on them and I have those, I make it awkward. Like, Hattie's always like, why are you going to fucking say hi to everyone sort of thing? Yes. But I'm like, but Mies doesn't, right? Like she's doesn't want to impede and, a bit quieter and that sort of thing. And so I'm like, what happens to us in 40 years? Because we're already not that social. Like Paul's my best mate, but we don't rock up at his house once a week. And fucking have coffee. We maybe plan to get together in a structured way once a quarter at best because we're all so busy and shit, right? So I'm like, so what happens to us? Like we know about it, but we're still moving in this direction of isolation.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think that's like how it's come to be that way. And, if you were ever trying to, act in response to it in a community-minded way, like you think about, I think the West basically has that individualistic type of view versus like a community-based view. I can't remember the term for it, but it's just this idea that like for, say, alternative cultures, you look at islanders or anyone from Southeast Asia or something like that, their whole perspective of the world is based on consideration of their family and the people, kind of the community, consideration of the family. And they often sometimes to their immediate detriment, will make decisions based on the whole rather than the individual.
Yeah.
And you see that with, islanders putting, their family before something that's necessarily might be better for them in the short term.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just a cultural thing where, we're trying to like, it's kind of the opposite, it's kind of it's about us and, our family, making our family, having a home, shipping our oldies elsewhere.
Yeah.
So it's just an imbalance there. And, I don't know what the answer is for it, but I think that like recognizing that helps you understand it a bit more. I just see a lot of people not putting the group or the community ahead of themselves,
Well, yeah, I think most folks are oblivious to it. And, it's evident, right, when you make eye contact with a stranger and say g'day, the amount of them that fucking paralyzed to respond or pretend they didn't see you, or like many do, but you see people that just like have lost the ability to be social with a stranger, right? I think it's a product of capitalism in the West,
Definitely.
right? Because all that matters is chasing like wealth, and it's like, so it's working and it's being productive, and everything else is an impediment to that. So spending time with your family, relaxing at home, catching up, like all that stuff is like, no. And then you layer in on top of it some of this British culture of like, don't impede on other people and, don't be a bother and all that sort of shit. It's definitely multifaceted. But yeah, I'm like, I feel like we try to make an effort to not be like that, but it's very hard to break that mold. It's very hard in our society to not fall into it.
So this, you might want to try this, Joe. So you do a good job because you have a community here. You also do a great job because you have a hobby, and that's, jiu-jitsu and training. And say jiu-jitsu, great community. So I think kind of where you might be intersecting was where I was as well, was like I had great communities, but I didn't have communities within 4 blocks of my house. And that I was at odds with that for a while. And anyway, I say that because, the school thing helps.
Yeah.
Now I have like some parents that I like hanging out with, and our kids, they're cool. Their kids are okay. And I accept them. Yeah, they're good enough. But, is part of why I started coaching football, and then I'm playing football now. So I guess like maybe.
That's some mad local shit.
Yeah. And, I go down, I've started training the boys twice a week last night, and I go down there and I know 16 kids really fucking well. And all their parents, I'm getting to know some of the new squad, I'm getting to know them, and everyone lives really close. And it was really good vibes. Tash dropped off for Hoko, and she doesn't know them as well because she's not as involved, but once games happen, she'll be with them. And it was just like a really good vibe down there on the water before we started training. And I don't know, maybe that's something to do, like join an existing local community, around your area. Or, like you said, you can fucking probably make one. That would be hard though. But like, you could do the community garden. Maybe that's what starts your street vibe.
Oh, listen to that. Yeah.
Yours got a really green street.
We do. Yeah. Like we could really, if we were willing to put the effort in, it wouldn't be hard to make either of those things happen.
Yeah, get the boots back on, mate.
Brother. I mean, I guess once Leo's of that age and if he's keen, I'd love to do that.
Yep.
Let's see, haven't been able to get him to go to a jiu-jitsu class yet.
Nah, me neither.
I fantasize about opening a gym right near my house and just like doing it as like a community gym or something, like doing an ally gym, but just like, I don't know, making it like almost a non-for-profit or something.
Sick.
But no one's got time for that.
Well, Steph's going to come around later this month to my house to make a home gym.
Yeah.
Figure it out. I have a really small space. I don't have a garage. It's really going to be hard to do. That's why I need someone like him to see it a bit different. But the idea there is just to have an open gym for all the local boys.
Yeah.
Just because Fehoko needs to start training. He's interested, and I also don't want them.
You'll become that dad.
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
If it doesn't happen, that's fine too. But at least I'm there, so they can have a place where they get some good training base.
Yeah.
Because, they could go to the Globo gyms and stuff, but be mad. I'd love it. And I know some of the boys. I'm like, come around for a session, and if it, pops off for a summer and we're all just like doing squats and chins, mad.
Jacked.
Yeah.
How good.
Yeah. So your garage is sick for that.
It is.
It's open to the street.
Yeah. Yeah, I got plans for it. Once we do the renos, I got some plans for it. It's going to get a bit smaller, but it will gain space because all the shit that's in there will mostly be out of there.
You're going to meet heaps of dads once you start school that fucking need training. And if they know you train, within a few months, the conversation will come up.
You know who I'm going to start training in jiu-jitsu soon? Dunks. Did I tell you about that?
No, mate.
Because he's in his 50s now. He's still a cop.
True.
but he's like, you know, and he fell in love with jiu-jitsu a couple of years ago,
Okay.
but he just kept getting injured. And
Oh,
he's like,
damn.
mate, he's like, oh, I wish I found it when I was, 10 years ago. He's like, my body just can't keep up. Young blokes at training just going super hard. And he had like kind of a nasty groin tear or something like that. So he's like, would you come and coach me privately and just teach me the basics in a kind of gentle, responsible? And I'm like, yeah, I said, I'll do it. I can definitely come and teach you a few times.
Yeah,
I'm not going to be your coach, but I'll come and get you started, kind of thing.
Fuck, he probably needs to go on bulletproof, do some mobility.
Yeah, it's funny. He's a mad training addict. He's always walking around the blocks with a weighted vest, and he's got all the apps, pliability and shit. We'll see where he's at, but I think he's in pretty good nick.
Cool, that's fun.
But yeah, I'm excited.
That's sick.
Yeah. He's always walking around with his police dog.
So he's still a
And he's like,
canine police.
Don't pat the dog.
Don't
I
pat
went
him,
to bed.
mate.
He's like, oh, you better not do that, mate.
Wasn't his dog's name Kaiser back then?
Oh, I can't even remember.
I'm pretty sure his dog's name was Kaiser. Fucking.
That one's probably gone now.
Yeah.
Pretty quick turnover. But yeah, he's still canine, like dog squad.
Wow. Say good day to him for me.
Yeah, well, pretty wild, eh? He's like, from what I understand, jumps in, shift starts at night, jumps in his car, him and the dog, goes out, starts fighting crime. It's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Looking for shit.
Criminal ass to eat
Yeah,
out.
like, fuck, it's like modern day Mad Max shit on the streets of Sydney,
Wow.
And you're not with another human, you're just with a dog.
I always picture him like driving around in a truck and then like having the siren like in the old movies.
Yeah.
We're on to one. And just going, reaching out the window and slapping on the siren on the top.
Yeah.
They don't do that anymore, eh?
I don't think we ever had those. That was an American thing.
It's an American thing.
Yeah.
On the roof.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. Fuck,
God.
good old days. Let's wrap it up there. Appreciate the chat.
Madman.